Hi everybody, my name is Cory. I'm with Talking Cardboard, and this is our first video series during this quarantine time, the COVID-19 pandemic that's happening right now here in the world. Trying to keep social distancing, stay at home, and doing what we can to provide as safe of an environment as possible for everybody. And in this first video series, it is called On the Shelf, and I actually go through all of the games on my personal board game shelf here. It's a collection of about 150 games, and I'm just going to go through which games I have on the shelf and why I have decided to keep them for so long. If they're newer additions to my shelf, I tell you whether or not I'm going to hang on to them for a while yet, or if they will actually be leaving my collection sometime soon. Starting with the first game in this Stefan Feld square here is this game at the top. It is Amerigo. Definitely a mainstay in my collection. This will be in my collection forever. I've had this game now for about 5 or 6 years. And the reason why this game is staying in my collection is because it is my favorite cube tower game. Cube tower right here. Basically it is what it sounds like. You drop cubes in the tower. Some of them get caught in the tower. Some of the other ones that don't get caught up actually get spit out the bottom. And depending on what colored cubes come out the bottom, you can do different actions with those. And basically building out this, inhabiting these islands and sailing around and trying to do different actions to get victory points like most of Stefan Feld games. But this one is definitely my favorite cube tower game that I've ever played. So that is the reason why Amerigo is staying in my collection and will forever be in my collection. Moving on to the next game. Trajan, my second favorite game of all time. That's part of the reason why it's in my collection and going another one that's going to be in my collection forever. But this one is just point salad at its finest. There's just so much going on in the game. I do love my point salad games, but to be real honest, the reason why this one is in my collection, I don't really know exactly how many number of games use the Mancala mechanism, but this game uses the Mancala mechanism so well. You can kind of see it here, this rondelle board, and you basically pick up these different colored cylinders from each spot and you drop one off as you go around the board in Mancala-like fashion, and where you land on grants you a different action, and depending on what colors are on there, those mean different things as well. The point salad is a lot of fun, but the reason why Trajan is staying in my collection is it just does the Mancala mechanism so well. It's a lot of fun. It's one of those mechanisms that, you know, I've always enjoyed the game Mancala, but I didn't really think just that mechanism all, you know, in itself, it was enough to make me want to play Mancala over and over and over again. Obviously a very old game, thousands of years old, so an old design at that, but what Stefan Feld did with the Mancala mechanism in Trajan was just very well done and made it into a fun modern game nowadays. So that is Trajan. Moving on to the next game in here in the cubby, it's actually two versions of it. The original Castles of Burgundy, and then I just got the 20-year anniversary edition Castles of Burgundy here. The reason why this game is in my collection is it takes a very, very simple mechanism, which is just rolling dice, but you're only rolling 2 dice in this game. And based on the values of those 2 dice, you are deciding of, you know, tens and tens of different actions you can do with those dice values, and it just does it so well. You know, you're taking these tiles from the main board, using those dice to gather these tiles. You place it in the storage area on your main board, and then you eventually place them on your main colony section of the board. And based on where you play them and the different tiles you place them next to, those get you different bonuses and different points based on that. But it is a fun twist to tile placement where you're not only collecting the tiles or drafting the tiles to place on your board, but there's actually 2 or 3 different steps to doing the tile placement, which makes it kind of unique and more strategic in my opinion. But to do that, you're just using 2 dice. So that makes it a lot of fun as well. In the 20-year anniversary edition here, it adds, 10 or more expansions to it. I actually haven't gotten this one to the table yet. It's that new for me, but I'm really looking forward to this. They upgraded artwork, updated, more colorful, and a little bit less busy. I guess that's debatable. The artwork is a little bit busy, but it looks like they streamlined a couple things with the artwork to make it more pretty. And then adding 10 expansions to add in or take out, depending on what you want to do. That just sounds like a whole lot of fun too. But just the base game in itself, it has a ton of replayability. It does not need any expansions, but I've probably gotten around 100 plays of this game already under my belt, and I'm just looking for a little bit more flavor now, so maybe those expansions will help with that. Last game in the cubby for today is Forum Trajanum, my newest Stefan Feld game that I have here on the shelf. Probably my least favorite out of all of his games in my collection, but still one that I think will be in my collection for a long while yet. I don't see this one leaving for at least another couple of years. It could stay in my collection forever. I just need more plays of it. In this game, it just has a couple different cards that tell you which zones on your board you can pull tiles from, and depending on what zone you pull your tile from, that'll give you different bonuses for these different colored meeples, and the different colored meeples will get you these other tiles, and it's basically another, not really tile placement game, but it's kind of, you're pulling tiles from your board to open up these spots on your player board. Based on the vacant areas you have on your player board, you can then take these buildings of different colors and place them in those vacant areas, and depending on where you place them and what buildings you're surrounding, and it's got the very nice spatial element to the game as well, that'll get you different points. There's these other bonuses too, and I think what I love most about this game, and the reason why it's going to be in my collection at least for a couple more years until something else surpasses it. I know Stefan Feld usually comes out with at least 1 or 2 games a year, and I know he's got another big title coming up later this year, depending on if they're going to release it or not, you know, given the current situation. But I hope they do, and I think it's still slated to come out as normal, so I'm really excited about that. But the reason why, kind of back to the reason why I think this game will last a while in my collection, is it's just so simple and quick to play. It says 30 minutes per player on here, and 30 minutes per player is correct. I mean, in a 2-player game, you're done in 60 minutes. Very, very light and quick, but still provides nice, meaty, in-depth decision making and strategies that it really makes you feel like you accomplished something in that short period of time. So I really do love my strategy games. I really do love games that have a lot of in-depth decision making, but if it can get done in a shorter period of time, it really makes that game that much better. Games that take 2-3 hours, that's fine and all, but if it can get it, you know, the same amount of feeling, the same amount of strategy and depth, or at least give you that feeling of strategy and depth, and it's done in an hour, that just adds that much more to it for me. And that does it for today's episode. Join me next time when I go over the other areas on my personal game shelf, and I just kind of, I don't know, go through each one because it's fun and gives me something to do, you know, given the current situation in the world right now. And I think it'll be a whole lot of fun for other people watching this too, to see what I have on my personal shelf, and more so why I'm keeping the games that I'm keeping, for all the various reasons. So if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. If you like what we're doing here on the channel, as always, please consider subscribing. We really appreciate it. And until next time, you all have a great day.